Guys, I record voice, my reading practice, the Christmas Carol and chapter 3, a second of the three separate. Just before 1 o'clock, Scrooge woke up. He pulled back the curtain from around his bed. Now he could see into every corner of the room. The second spirit will be here soon, but this time are we ready for it? Scrooge was prepared for anything, but the spirit did not appear at 1 o'clock. Scrooge waited and waited, but nothing happened. He was worried and began to shake. About 15 minutes later, a bright red light washed over him. Where is it coming from? He said nervously. The light seemed to radiate from the door. He scrambled out of bed and tiptoed toward it. "Come in, Ebenezer Scrooge," called a strange voice as he opened the door. He jumped with his fright, but obeyed the command. It was his room, but it had changed. Now the wall and ceiling were covered with holly, ivy, and mistletoe. A huge fire roared up the chimney. There was a strange throne in the middle of the room. It was made from turkey, oyster, sausage, plum pudding, and fresh fruit. Screaming bowl of delicious spice punch sat next to it, and on top of it sat a jolly fat spirit. It was pointing a glowing torch at Scrooge. It was pointing a glowing torch at Scrooge. "Come in and talk to me," said the spirit. Scrooge tiptoed in and stood quietly before the jolly spirit. He felt his kind and gentle eye watching him. "I'm the ghost of Christmas present," said the spirit. "Come closer and look at me, Ebenezer Scrooge." Scrooge reluctantly looked at the spirit. Its feet were bare, and it wore a simple green robe trimmed with white fur. On top of his long, brown curly hair sat a crown of holly that sparkled with shiny icicle. "Spirit, show me what to do," said Scrooge. "I will never forget that hard lesson I learned last night, so please teach me how to be kind and good." "Touch my robe," said the spirit. When Scrooge did so, his room vanished, and he was standing on the street with the spirit on Christmas morning. The sky was gloomy, and snow was falling in showers of sooty flakes. It was freezing, but men were busy clearing snow from the footpath and rooftop. Children were happily building snowmen and happily snowball fight. Music, happy chatter, and delicious aroma came from the dark and dingy house. Women gossiped as they waited patiently to buy their turkey and sweet cake. Everyone was happy, and goodwill filled the air. The spirit led Scrooge to the home of his clerk, Bob Cratchit. Mrs. Cratchit and her daughter, Belinda and Martha, were laying the table for dinner. Peter Cratchit was watching the potato cook. Two small Cratchit, a boy and girl, were screaming and dancing excited around the table. "Father's coming!" shouted the two youngest. Bob Cratchit came in carrying his small, crippled son. Tiny Tim couldn't walk without crutch, so his father usually carried him. Without crutch? "Christmas is that one time of the year when families should be together," said Bob. He smiled as he set Tiny Tim beside him at the table. Martha and Belinda brought him, gravy, pretzels, and mashed potato. applause. Peter brought him the goose for Mr. Clancy to carve. When they had finished eating, Bob said, "Well, my dear Mrs. Cratchit, I have never before eaten such a tasty goose." And all the children agreed. Then Mrs. Cratchit poured hot brandy on the pudding and said it all right. All right. "Oh, what a wonderful pudding," said Bob. "I declare it's Mrs. Cratchit's best ever." At last the dinner was all done, and the family gathered around the fire. They roasted chestnut and drank warm wine. "God bless us and Merry Christmas to us all," said Bob cheerfully. Tiny Tim sat beside his father on his little stool. "And God bless us, everyone," he said. Just then, Scrooge heard his name. "A toast," said Bob, raising his glass, "to Mr. Scrooge and founder of the feast." "The founder feast, indeed," cried Mrs. Cratchit angrily. "I wish he was here. I'd soon tell him how mean he is." "Now, my dear, it's Christmas Day," said Bob. "On your Christmas Day, could you toast such a hateful and unfeeling man as Mr. Scrooge?" She said, "Nobody knows it's better than you. I will do it for your sake, but not for his." "My dear, it is the season of goodwill," said Bob. Suddenly Scrooge said, "Spirit, tell me if Tiny Tim will live." "He will die if nothing happened to change his future," said the Spirit. "Oh no, kind Spirit," said Scrooge. "Please say he will live. Let him die, then there will be more for those who are left." Scrooge felt ashamed to hear his own word repeated to him. Suddenly, Tiny Tim began to sing his sad little voice. Then the whole family joined in. Scrooge couldn't take his eye off them. The Spirit led him outside. It was snowing heavily and almost dark. They flew over a field and across the sea. Scrooge was astonished to hear in every home, lighthouse and ship, kind words spoken between man, woman, and children. "I'm surprised to hear such merriment everywhere," said Scrooge. All of a sudden, Scrooge found himself in his nephew's bright and cozy house. Fred, his wife, and friends were all laughing heartily at someone's joke. "He said that Christmas was humbug," said Fred. "Shame on him," said Fred's wife. "He's a strange old fellow, but he'd only has himself to blame." "He's very rich, isn't he, Fred?" he said. "So what, my dear? He's mean and never does any good with his money. He won't even come and dine with us. My uncle will probably grumble and mourn every Christmas till he dies. But I do pity him." After tea, Scrooge's niece sat down at the harp to play a merry tune. Scrooge recognized the tune. Many years ago he had whistled it while Fan sang in her sweet voice. He had been kinder and more thoughtful then. Now he realized he was just miserable and selfish. Later that evening, all the guests played the game. There were shrieks of laughter as they enjoyed themselves. Scrooge forgot that they couldn't see or hear him. He played too. He was starting to enjoy himself, but the Spirit wanted them to leave. "They are starting a new game. Please, kind Spirit, let me stay a little longer." It was a game called Yes or No. Fred had to think of something or someone. Then the other had to question him to find the answer, but he could only reply with yes or no. "It is animal?" "Yes." Does it live alone? Yes. It is bad-tempered. And does it growl whenever it walks a street? Yes. Each time he answered, Fred burst out laughing. Finally, his wife jumped up and let squeal. I know. It's your Uncle Scrooge. You're right, said Fred. He has made us laugh tonight. So we should drink a toast to him. To Uncle Scrooge, and Joey shout, a Merry Christmas and Happy New Year to the old man, said Fred. Scrooge wanted to stay longer, but the spirit whistled him away. They traveled far away. After a while, Scrooge noticed a strange thing. Why are spirits live so short? Asked Scrooge. I can see you growing older by this minute. We are only allowed a brief life, said the spirit. Mine and tonight. Tonight? Said Scrooge. Yes, at midnight, said the spirit. Hurry, it is getting late. They heard the chime ringing a quarter to midnight. Is that a small foot? There is a small foot. Is that small foot I see poking out of your clothes? Asked Scrooge. From underneath the spirit robe, two small unhappy children appeared. They clung to the spirit clothes and glared at Scrooge. Their skin was yellow and they were thin and dirty. Scrooge was shocked and asked, Spirit, are these children yours? They are the children of our man. The boy is ignorance, the girl is want. Beware them both until you learn to care more for others than for yourself. Beware them both until you learn to care more for others than for yourself. Have they no home or family? Cried Scrooge. Are there no present? Said the spirit, using Scrooge's own word. Are these no workhouse? Then the clock struck 12. Scrooge looked for the ghost of Christmas present, but it had gone. At the last stroke of 12, he remembered the prediction of old Jacob Marley. He looked up and saw the third spirit through the fog.